I swear, if I record this video one more time and it don't work, I'm done. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, back with another video, and I have joined the upper echelon of audio interface gearheads. You know, the guys out there who think, you know, they got the best of the best because they spent a lot of money on gear. We know who you are. But anyway, I have just bought me, or got whatever you want to say, a UAD Apollo interface, and I want to talk about it coming from the perspective of a Windows user. And is this a overly hyped, overly priced interface, or is this an OP, amazing, great interface? Tell you a little secret, it's pretty damn good. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the UAD Apollo. I'm gonna give you guys my things I like about it, things I don't like about it, some things they can improve with it, and hopefully it will make you, you know, if you're thinking about getting this as a Windows user, you know, this video will help you. If you're a Mac user, sorry, this video is not for you. Hey, there's other videos out there, people reviewing this interface as Mac users, but on Windows, we're gonna talk about it right now. So let's jump into the video. So what are we gonna talk about today? We're talking about the newer Apollo interface, the X series of Apollo interface. This is their flagship, top of the line. These are pretty much the best of the best interfaces you can get out there. There's only a few interfaces that are like in the same category. I think like the RME stuff, or like the really top end Avid stuff, or maybe the top end Focusrite stuff comes a little close to this, but the Apollo interfaces are widely used by everybody. You know, the plugins are widely used by everybody, the preamps, all the good stuff, and we're gonna talk about it today, and why I think this is a great interface, or is it just something overpriced, you might be thinking about it, you might not be thinking about it, who knows? So let's talk about it. You know, I got you broke gang, I got you, I'm gonna give you the truth about this interface, y'all know. Which interface did I go with? Now, there are a bunch of ranges in the Apollo series. Now, there is the twin series of X series, which usually like the little desktop ones, which, you know, they're pretty cool. I think there's a solo as well if you need like a little portable one, but I don't think it has the X internals or whatever. But they do have the twin X, which comes in sync, solo, duo, and quad DSP. Then they had the X4, which I think has 2 ends, 4 ins, 4 out, something like that. So, you know, it's still a little desktop unit. Then you get into the rack mount units, which is the X6, which is the one I have right here. I have the X6, and I'll tell you why I picked this one. Then they had the X8, which the 6 has 6 ins, 6 outs. The 8 has 8 ins, 8 outs. Then they had the 8P, which has the 8 unison preamps, which, you know, I don't need all them preamps, unison preamps. And then there is the 16, which is more like a kind of it's more like an A to D conversion box, which, you know, if you have outboard gear, that's probably the one you want to go. If you have a lot of outboard gear, that's probably the one you can go with. And I think the 6 has 6 DSP, the 8 has 8, and I think the 16 has 8 as well. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. Maybe it has 16 DSP chips. I didn't look into them, sorry. So yeah, basically, depending on the number you get, depending on how many DSP chips you get in, this is a hexa core, so it has 6 DSP chips, and it has 6 in, 6 outs. Why did I go with the 6 in, 6 out interface? Because I don't really need a whole lot of ins and outs, because I'm not really recording a lot of inputs and outputs, and this one comes with 2 unison preamps, so that's fine as well with me. But I did expand my interface. As you see, I still have my Arturia audio fuse, and I actually got it running into ADAT into the back of my UAD audio interface. So that gives me just an additional 8 in, 8 outs right here. So I have essentially, you know, you do the math, 8 times 6, 8 plus 6 ins and outs. So that pretty much spent it. If I do want to get more hardware gear, which I do have hardware right now, and I plan on getting more. So yeah, that's kind of cool there. Oh, and I do want to say big shout out to today's channel sponsor. These are the guys who hooked me up with this interface, and, you know, let me use it and let me play around with it and decide if I want to keep it or not. And that is ZZounds. ZZounds is a website where you can get anything that you need as far as audio goes. If you need interfaces, microphones, speakers, guitars, even computers, cables, all that good stuff, you can get it from ZZounds. And also, if you're having trouble, you don't have all the money, they have a pay-as-you-go type of plan. Basically what it is, they break up your payments into 4 or 6 chunks, monthly chunks, and basically you can pay it as you go. So you can make the first payment, they ship you your gear, you start making fucking, you start making music, and then you go away when you just keep making the payment, so it's paid off, and then you own it completely. So that is really dope, that is really good. So shout out to ZZounds for helping your boy out. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more stuff come from them, and they're the channel sponsor, and I do want to say shout out to them. Thank you guys or sending me this interface to test out and mess around with it. So yeah, back to the video. So yeah, let's just start off with the stuff about the interface. Like I said, I pretty much told you about the ins and outs and all that good stuff. Let's start talking about stuff like the stuff that's built inside of what makes it great. So first off, the big thing about this interface is that it's not USB, but Thunderbolt 3. So Thunderbolt 3 or Thunderbolt in general, Thunderbolt interfaces are probably some of the best interfaces out there. Why? Because the speed, the data transfer, the low latency, and the fact that you can usually control everything remotely makes Thunderbolt interfaces just better. So basically what that means is this is all digital control, all the knobs and everything like that. So I can actually control my entire interface through my computer and the console software, which I have pulled up right now, as you can see. And that just allows me to control it. I control the preamps, the volume. The only thing I can't control is the headphone stuff. That's the analog right there, which is pretty cool. I'll talk about it later. But you can pretty much control this entire interface remotely. So if it's in like a rack over across the room and you don't want to run over there and touch it, pull up the console, you can control the ins and outs, you can control the faders, the preamps, all the good stuff, switch the units and preamps, all the good stuff. And that's what I like about Thunderbolt interfaces, the fact that you can record stuff remotely, and also the low latency, the data transfer, the rock stability, pretty good. Now, this also comes with the units and preamps. Now, the units and preamps are what makes this interface super dope. So basically, depending on which one you get, depending on how many, like I said, units and preamps you get, usually it's come with 2, unless you get the 8 where the 8 comes with 4 and then the 8P comes with 8. This one has 2. So basically the units and preamps allow you to change the characteristics of the preamps. As right now, I'm actually recording through a Neve emulation, a Neve 1073 preamp emulation, as you can see, and I'll talk about the plugins as well. So basically I can change this preamp to any preamp one. So like I said, right now you're hearing it come from a Neve 1073 preamp. I actually have a real Neve 1073 right here, which I want to talk about later video. But I have it on the go. I have it right here. If I need multiple microphones, I only got one preamp, I can emulate right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the preamp so you can just see how it sounds and you can hear different flavors. So right now we're talking to a Neve 1073 preamp only. Let's change it up to something else. Okay, now I am hooked up to a API style preamp. So I have the API Vision channel strip, which is one of the newer units and preamps. So it has a different characteristic API sound. If you know anything about API, you know their preamps. This is an API channel strip sound. Let's switch to another one. All right, now this is the Sentry tube preamp. It's a tube sound, so you can see it has a little bit more of a lower, like low end, has a lot more warmer sound. Like I said, tube preamp. Like I say, this is more of a vintage style preamp. As you can hear, sounds really good. I mean, if you want to go for that vintage vibe, you're making a vintage style sound, maybe using the vintage mic. This is a good one. Let's switch to another vintage style microphone real quick. All right, now this is the V76. This is more, I think this is like a Russian vintage tube preamp. So it has a even vintager sound. As you can hear, you just see with the units and preamps, you can really get some different characteristics. Like I said, it might not show up too much on the SM7B that I'm recording in, but if I probably use a condenser microphone, probably sound good, but my room's not treated right now, so I'm using the dynamic microphone to kind of cut down some of them echoes and like that. But you can hear that does change up the sound a little bit depending on how you go with. But that's just what I like about the units and preamps. It just gives you the ability to have different colors, different flavors, and you can switch it up anywhere you want to and get a different sound, different texture without having to buy multiple preamps or anything like that. So I'm gonna switch it back to my Neve and it will continue on with the review. So yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people like with the units and preamps, is give you that kind of flavor and that color. Let's continue. Now, with the units and preamps, like I said, you just saw the plugins, and there's a ton of plugins. The UAD plugins are probably some of the best plugins out there, and they all run on the DSP of the interface. So that means your computer does not have to worry. You can record with a bunch of plugins on in real time, and you can even print the sound of the insert plugin. So if you got like compressors, EQ, stuff like that on there, you can print that sound going into your DAW. Now, DSP versus natively run on your computer, there's a big argument about we don't really need DSP plugins, like everything run on a computer. Computers are powerful enough. I'm gonna make a video talking about DSP versus native plugins. I might have something about it, but I do like DSP plugins because it gives you the ability to record everything directly onto the actual interface. So you ain't gotta worry about nothing like that. It's low latency, that kind of thing, and you can just keep everything from processing through your computer. So like I said, I do like recording everything through the DSP. That's just me, but everybody's gonna have their different opinions about DSP versus native plugins, so it is what it is. Yeah, you just figure out how you want to go about that. That's totally up to you. We'll make a video about that later. So yeah, so we got the units and preamps, we got the plugins, we got the Thunderbolt 3, The console is also really good. I love the console, how it's set up. You can control it differently. So as you see, this is the console. You have all your settings. You have your microphone controls, all that kind of good stuff. You could put your inputs in there, like your insert effects. That's 4 per channel. I think you put more in there. I'm not sure. I haven't really dived deep into it. You control 48-volt phantom power. Don't need it for the dynamic microphone. You got, you know, your high pass filter, pads, phase inverts, all the good stuff. And if you change it on the actual plugins, it changes as well. So, you know, you have the actual, you know, of the plugin or whatever, depending on the plugin you're using too. And then you have, you know, you can see all your plugins that you got right here, and you know, hide and show hide plugins you don't have and you do have. You got the hardware. You can actually daisy chain these together, which basically means you can add multiple units together through Thunderbolt, and then you can connect up like I think 8 or something like that. I'm not sure, 6 or 8 or something like that. And you can use the DSP of all of your Apollo interface. So if you have like multiple rack mount units in like say a twin, you can use all the DSP of all that. And or if you want to add like a satellite to it, you can just plug into the back of the unit or the interface, and you can, you know, use the DSP, and that's really good. So if you want to expand, get more DSP, run more plugins, you got that right there. And you also got the matrix where you can set your ins and outs. Like I said, I got ADAT and all that. So I have all these inputs. I have all 6 inputs through my actual interface, and then I have all these ADAT inputs as well, so I can run multiple instruments at one time with this multiple instruments, but multiple ins and outs and all the good stuff with this interface. So like I said, I really do like it. That's one thing I love about this UAD Apollo in the console. And yeah, so that's what I like about it, man. It's a lot. I mean, I would say I only had it for, I would say, about a month now, a month and a week. So I'm still learning the interface, still getting used to, still getting it kind of hooked up to my system. So yeah, so now let's talk about, since that's the stuff I like about it, let's talk about the cons about this, and also come from an experience of a Windows user, because this is a tricky interface to work with if you're a Windows user. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's a little tricky. Once you get it set up, it's rock solid. Haven't had any issues with it. So first off, you want to make sure you have a compatible motherboard and computer, CPU, and all that has Thunderbolt 2, 3, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because you need to have that in order to run. If you're Mac, you just plug and play. It's gonna work. We all know that. That's just how Macs are. Lucky you guys. Ooh, I know how you're gonna be in the comments. Mac, whatever. Keep paying for your overpriced stuff. So yeah, once you get that set up, works pretty good. Now, there's something you need to know about working with this with certain applications on Windows. So first off, recording your DAW, OBS, Discord, stuff like that, Skype, Zoom, you're gonna have issues with the drivers with this, and it's gonna make a bunch of cracks and pops and stuff like that when trying to use those softwares. Now I have figured out a way to actually record, you know, with OBS with no problems, no cracks and pops, and I'll make a video about that like probably in the next couple of days to show you guys how to set that up, because it's real easy, real simple, and it's made my life easy because I had a whole bunch of issues. But if you want to use this for, like, I would say like Discord, like I said, Teams, Discord, Zoom, Skype, stuff like that, then you need something like AzioLink or Voice Meter Banana to reroute the audio, because this does not have a loopback feature. For one, so OBS can't even pick up the input, so you have to use a special way to do it, and I'll show you 2 different ways of doing that. That should help you out. But the drivers, they're not ASIO drivers, it's using WMD drivers, but I think they're still ASIO, but it's also using the WD drivers, the Windows Direct Media, and those drivers do not play well with stuff like Discord, stuff like not TeamSpeak, but Discord, Skype. That's how old I am. Discord, Skype, Zoom. It will have issues, so you need something like AzioLink or something like Voice Meter Banana. I have made a video on how to use AzioLink, so you can definitely type in the description AzioLink OBS in there and show you how to set it up. So still same process. It's just, yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about it, because there's no loopback feature. Like, you're paying all this money for this interface, and like I said, this is a $2,200 interface, and it doesn't have a loopback feature. I wonder if that's something they can add through software updates, or is that something internally? I don't know. Basically, what a loopback is it takes your outputs and reroutes them into some digital inputs. That way, stuff like OBS or, you know, whatever you're using can, you know, listen to that audio, and you can have an extra channel of that audio. It makes things so much easier to set up. OBS does have a new feature where you can record it. I just found that out, so it does make it a little bit easier, and also show you another way through a free plugin as well. That's super simple to using your DAW if you want to go that route for using OBS with this. So I'll be making that video shortly, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. You know, I think like 90% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. Come on, bro, help your boy out. Let's grow this channel so I keep bringing you guys these great videos. So yeah, that's the issue I have had with this. So yeah, pretty much the setup, no loop back feature, and using certain applications have been kind of a headache with this interface. But once you figure it out and you get it set up and in your system, it's rock solid. You have no issues, and yeah, it just works flawlessly. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to stuff I don't like about it. So is this interface worth it? In my opinion, in my setup, this interface is definitely worth it. Sorry, Zounds, I'm gonna buy this from you guys because I love this interface. You're not getting this back. I'm gonna just buy it from you because I love this interface. I mean, using it, recording people, recording myself, making videos, all that good stuff. It's it's amazing interface. I mean, goddamn, you know, the unison preamps, the headphone outs are super good on this thing. Forgot to talk about that. Also, the volume is great. You have different buttons on here to do different features. The metering is amazing. Like I said, setting it up with external preamps is amazing. It's just a great plugin, digitally controlled, Thunderbolt, low latency, universal audio plugins. I mean, yeah, so I mean, I love this interface. Like I said, it's the things I don't like about it, told you that. And also the plugins, they're a little bit expensive, but I mean, they're great. They're a little bit expensive, but they're really good. They're the best. They're the closest thing you can get to analog. I know there's other plugins out there, but let's be honest, the UAD stuff is some of the best because it runs that DSP, and that DSP gives it the power. And like I said, you also run it in real time. So I mean, there's that, and I'll talk about video about that. But yeah, there's not much I don't have to say about this interface negatively, except I know some of you guys are broke, gang, so affording something like this might be hard. But does a better interface really mean better sound quality and all that? It's debatable. I'll make a video talking about that. But for me, my setup and what I got going on, this is the perfect interface. If you want high-end sound, you want to have, you know, do higher end production, you know, having a higher end interface with better features in it is definitely worth it. And you know, this is probably the best of the best, the top of the top. I mean, it's Apollo, UAD Apollo. It's great. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about the interface. And yeah, I want to know what you guys think about this interface. Do you own one? Do you have one? You thinking about getting one? Mac, Windows, whatever. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Also, I say if you want to check out this interface yourself, I will leave links in the description below to Zounds. Also, check out my wish list as well. Have a bunch of products on there that I'm thinking about getting or hopefully gonna get. And if you guys want me to check out certain products, interfaces, plugins, microphones, all that, leave it down below. I'll talk to Zounds so we can get that review for you guys. Kind of want to bring you guys more quality. And like I said, thank you for Zounds for sponsoring the channel, and they're gonna help me bring you guys more great videos as well. Great company. Definitely recommend them like 100%. I've been using them since the early days, like I mean 2000, I would say 2013. I've been, you know, rocking with goddamn, or even longer than that. I don't even know. It's been a long time. When I started music, I've been using Zounds, and now they're sponsoring the channel, so can't thank them enough for that. So with that being said, y'all know who it is, your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, not motivated by money, but the like, comment, subscribe, and views as always. If you guys like the video, I want you guys to thumb the video up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and with that being said, hope you guys enjoy, like always, your favorite producer with the nappy dreads. As always, Slim, aka Mr. Different. Catch you guys next video. I'm out, everybody. Peace.